identify business stakeholders and their interest in the business. That's what is important. So do not just identify the stakeholder. What is important? What is his interest or her interest or its interest if it's the government or another organization like competitors? You need to describe how stakeholders' interests may be in conflict. Okay, so some of these stakeholders' interests, for example, the company director. Okay, so he may want to get a lot of money, so which means you need to have a huge amount of bonus. But if that bonus is coming from profit, yeah, and profit of the business. Now, business is not owned by that director; is owned by the shareholders, who are part of stakeholders. Now, the shareholders are the ones who put money in the business. Now, the main aim of the shareholders is that the business is going to make a lot of profit. Now, you can see by the company director demanding higher bonuses will mean that the shareholders' profitability is going to go down. So they are going to have less money because the company director is demanding a huge amount of money as bonuses. Okay, so there's a conflict there. The interest of the shareholder is not the same as interest of the company director. Okay, because the shareholders want a huge profit. If they have huge profit, they are more likely to have a higher dividend because that's how they are paid. So they are paid by using dividend, which is the proportion of the share of that particular profit, depending on how much you have invested in that particular business. So if a huge amount of money goes to the director, then it means the shareholders will have less money. And they are going to be unhappy because in the end, they will end up demoting that particular director. So they will sack him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we are going to look at some of these conflicts of interest. Okay. And then they have impact on the business. So another conflict of interest you can see. Let's say after you finish here, you finish your GCSE, and then you get a job as a business person, so you're a manager. Okay, so you're a business manager. Now, what you will be doing is that instead of maximizing the profit of the business, you are going to obviously just make enough profit to make the shareholders happy. Because you are afraid that if you make a huge amount of profit, that profit is going to be invested in the business, and then the business is going to expand. So what happens if the business is going to grow and expand? What will happen to you?
I might have a promotion, or my payment will increase.
You will not, because you have only GCSE. Yeah, so if the business grows to a certain size, then your qualifications do not allow you to head that business. You're going either to be sacked, or you're going to be told to go back to school and get a higher degree. Now, if you say, no, I don't want to go to school, then they will sack you. Do you follow? Yeah. Yeah. So what will you be doing then if you have got that problem as a manager at this particular business?
You can go and start your own business.
No, you're not going to start your own business. You're going to make just enough profit for your shareholders. Yeah, for fear that the business might grow, and then if it grows, you're going to lose the job. So we call that satisfying the shareholders. So you're not making a profit more than what is required. You're just making profit to make the shareholders happy so that they don't sack you.
Yeah.
Do you follow? Yeah, many people don't like to go back to school, particularly when you're grown up. Yeah, school is not easy. But at the same time, you don't want to lose the job unnecessarily. Okay. Yeah, starting your own business is not easy. It's very hard because you are boss of your own, but obviously you are jack of all trades. So all the things like human resource management, marketing management, finance management, so you can see all those, strategic management, is going to be on your head, and it's going to be sleepless nights. Yeah, so you don't want that. Right? But what you
Mm-hmm.
don't want is to lose the job,
Yeah.
specifically because depending on the size of the business, it need to match with your qualifications. If your qualifications are lower, then they'll be kind enough to send you to school. They're going to pay for your fees, okay? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but as I said, most of people don't like going to school. Now, if you say, no, I don't want to go to school, then they will sack you. You lose the job, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are also going to look at why should business actually grow? What are the benefits of growing a business, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay. So the first we need is obviously a definition of stakeholders, and that's the way you need to approach your exam, because your exam always assesses your knowledge. So at your level now, it's easy to demonstrate that you have knowledge of what you're talking about. So when you have a question, then look at that question, identify the keywords in it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you might have only one keyword, you might have two keywords, and then you need to define that. That's the only way you show the knowledge. So obviously, if you define that, you are showing that you have knowledge and you know what you're talking about. Then the second they will assess is it obviously your understanding. Yeah, and so your understanding is actually shown by application. So your application is to give example. Yeah, so for example, if you're talking about stakeholders, give an example of a stakeholder of a business once you have defined it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, because you're going to have many cases, yeah, which are data response, always that should come from your small case study they have given you. So you need to analyze that case study, identify some of the elements, and then obviously use those to answer your questions. So as I said, we'll look at them as we go along. When we do the next session, we're going to look at the past paper.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a stakeholder is anyone with an interest in the business. So can you see? Yeah. So anyone with an interest in the business. But what we're interested is what are their interests. So don't just say interest, but obviously we not want to know what is the interest. What actually is the interest? Now, interest also can be defined as benefits that particular individual is looking for from that particular business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what is going to benefit? As you can say, stakeholders are individuals. Okay. So they can be individuals, they can be groups, also they can be organizations. And they are actually affected by the activity of the business. Okay. So whatever business is doing, its impact is going to be impacting on the stakeholders.
Yeah.
Now, you have stakeholders that are internal, so within the business itself, like
Mm-hmm.
obviously the shareholders who are the owners of the business, the workers themselves, the managers, they are inside the business. So these are internal stakeholders. And then you have external stakeholders. These are those who are outside. So for example, the community. Yeah, so the community is the society in which the business is based. And obviously,
Mm-hmm.
they have interest in the business because it provides the foods or, sorry, the products and the services that people need to have. But also is providing to that community as a jobs, which is a source of income for that particular community. And also
Yeah.
in most cases, such businesses also they tend to contribute to some of the community project groups. So for example, building schools, building bridges, and also contributing towards maybe when the one of the members of the society or of the community has died.
Mm-hmm.
So they will go there to console that member or the family of that member. So all these they are part of contribution to that community. So that's why a community itself is a stakeholder on itself, on its own. And also, it does get affected by activities of the business. So, for example, if this business is manufacturing, it's more likely that obviously some of the waste from that particular company is going to be dumped in the river, and then the river becomes dirty. It kills the fish, which obviously is supposed to be food for these particular people. and also it makes the water not actually suitable to drink. So you can see the environment itself can be contaminated. So people suffering from asthma can actually easily get asthmatic attack. So you can see there, they are obviously having impact on the community or the society as a whole. Right. Okay. All right. So here are examples of stakeholders and their interests. So the first are the owners. Remember, the owners are also known as shareholders. Okay. Now, businesses, when they are getting money, you'll see when we get a look at the finance, they're going to have two types of finances. So there's going to be the finance they get from the people who are owners of the business. Now they get that money through shares. Okay, so they issue shares and then people buy the shares. So the moment you buy the share, then it means you are buying the ownership of that particular business.
Mm-hmm.
And your ownership is the proportion of that share. And that's how you're going to be paid the proportion of the profit that the business make. So what you get is going to be the dividend. So remember that dividend is the amount of money you get for being a member or being a shareholder of a specific company. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then the other source of finances for that particular business, apart from the shares, is going to be the loan. Okay. So the loan, so it doesn't matter how much loan you have got, that does not give them a sense of ownership to the business. No. So the people who have lent you money in a form of loan, they are not owners of the business. No, they are, but compared to the shareholders. So these ones they charge interest on the money that obviously they have lent you. Obviously, when you are paying back interest plus the original amount that you borrowed. Compared to the shareholders, they are not going to, or you are not going to get it. They are not going to pay you the money again. They are only limited by that amount of share that they have purchased. So even if your company go bankrupt, you are not going to ask for extra money from the shareholders. No, they can only lose that amount of money they actually contributed to your business, as long as it is a limited company. Okay. While these people you lent money, you borrowed the money from, those ones, even if your business is going bankrupt, they're going to ask you to sell the properties of the business, and the money you get, it has to be paid back to the owners who are not the shareholders now, but the people who actually borrowed or lent you the money. Yeah, not the shareholders are always at last. So the priority is actually to pay the debt. That's why they call them. They are called debtors. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So owners who are interested in how much profit the business makes for obvious reasons, because the more profit the business make, the more dividend they're going to be paid. So their money paid to the shareholders, who are the owners of the business, is called the dividend. Okay. The next group of stakeholders is our managers. Okay. Now, managers more or less are concerned about their salary because obviously it's the source of income to support them day-to-day life, but also to support their own family and children. So that's why they are more interested in the business. Then also you have got workers. Now, workers, they are more interested, obviously, to earn higher wages and also keep their jobs. So they want the business to be sustained, to continue operating. They are not happy to see the business collapsing, because if the business collapses, all of them, they lose the jobs, which is not good. And also they are interested to make sure that they have enough money. And so that's why they are asking for higher wages, because that money will help to support them pay day-to-day living of themselves as well as their families and children. Then you have customers. Yeah, customers also, they are actually part of stakeholders. Now, obviously, they want the business, their interest to make sure that the business produce a higher quality products, and these higher quality products should be at a reasonable prices. So that's the interest of the customers. Then you have suppliers of raw materials. So the materials you use to make goods and services. Those suppliers, they are also interested to make sure that the business continues, because then they will continue to supply, which means their business is also going to continue. Yeah, so that's very important for the suppliers to make sure that the business they are supplying raw materials to is actually continuing. Then, as I said, lenders, yeah, again, lenders are more interested to make sure that their loan is repaid, and it is repaid on time and in full, not just a little bit. No. So whatever agreement was given, if it's 2 years, 2 years, then they need to be paid all the money at that particular time. If it's a monthly, which day of the month that you're going to pay them those installments, so they must be paid on time. Yeah, so these are the lenders. Again, as I said, we have more stakeholders. I think at the beginning we talked about the government as well. The community, obviously, which has a stake in the business as employers of local people, because they obviously, yes, these local people, they form the community, and therefore these businesses, they are part and parcel of the employers of these local businesses, sorry, local people. Business activity also affects the local environment. So, for example, noisy nighttime deliveries or smelly factory would actually be unpopular with local residents. So they are also affected by the activities of the business. So it's not only good things. No, there are also bad things that come from the businesses. So these they need to be avoided or their impact reduced, which we call mitigating. Mitigating means you reduce the impact of, let's say, noise. So this is a manufacturing company, which means it has got machines which operate, and machines always make noises. And if they are operating throughout the 24 hours, during the night time, it means people cannot sleep. I think I had that experience when I just arrived in UK, where I was renting. It was a path for Heathrow Airport. So planes were
Mhm.
passing actually above our house, and the house was near the airport, which means the plane, obviously, they are down. They are not higher up, they are down. So we used to be disturbed with the noise, the whole day noise. At least there's a limit to the time when you can't hear the planes anymore. So at least you can sleep. But normally it's late, it's around 10 o'clock p.m. So you can see what happens there. Okay. Yeah, do not forget another most important stakeholder is the government. The government obviously will be interested to see that the company is continuing because it is going to employ people, therefore helping it to reduce unemployment. And also, people who are employed, they are much more stable than the people who are not employed. So one of the things that trouble the government is to look at the mutiny of people because they are not happy with the government. Yeah, but when they're employed, everybody is happy. So it's easier for the government to manage or to rule such type of people rather than people who are not happy. Yeah, and you have seen in most of the countries where there are demonstrations. Yeah, yeah. So obviously that demonstrates that people are not happy. Okay, I think we are seeing that now in America. America is looking like a third world. Yeah, people are protesting all the day. Yeah. Which is not good because instead of concentrating on working, they are not working. They are going to the roads just to demonstrate. Right. Okay. Right. So here we are. So these are summary of business, okay, stakeholders and their interests. So what you see there. So in the blue, okay, so the blue small balloons is obviously the interest. So for example, let's look at managers. So managers are interested in salaries, their own status, and also to make sure that they are in control. Yeah, so you remember they are managing this business, so they make sure that the business is obviously under their control, which includes in controlling the employees. So employees are able to abide by whatever rules they are set up in the business. So and then they are concentrating on working. For workers, you see they are more interested with incomes, job security, and satisfying work. Yeah, so make sure that the work is safe, is motivating, and also is rewarding, which means they're getting enough of money to feed their families. Consumers, obviously, they are more interested in goods and services. These should be of higher quality, and also they must be priced at a good value, which means they are not priced out. Priced out means the prices of the products or services, they are above what they can afford, because in that way they will not be able to buy them. Community, again, they are more interested with the job, clean environment, and safe products. So this is their interest. So the things you see in the blue balloons, they are the interests. Okay. Government, obviously, employment is very important, and also taxes. As I've said, unemployment is not a problem of you and me. No, it's always a problem of the government. When people are not employed, they always complain about that government, and then they will end up demonstrating against that government. And if possible, they're going to throw that government out. And we have seen in a number of other countries such things happen. Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you have questions so far? Are you following?
No questions. So
Okay.
proceed.
Okay. Right.